Alright guys, what happened here is I accidentally deleted my intro for the upcoming video. I did an intro, you know, going to this job and all that, but I accidentally deleted it on my camera. I'm actually leaving the job site right now, but this is going to be kind of like a new intro, I guess. What you're about to see is I'm at the house where the dogs pissed on them carrier units when I was helping my dad change that water heater. And I go over there and you're going to see me perform their spring maintenance. And the reason that I did it so early was because I thought that we were going to have all dirty evaporators, because he hasn't. The guy told me he hadn't changed his filters in 5 years. And you'll see footage of the filters on this upcoming video. And so that's why I'm performing the maintenance so early, even though it is pretty warm here right now in Louisiana. And you know, our weather over here in Louisiana is so unpredictable. You know, it can be in the 30s one day and in the 70s the next. So I hope y'all enjoy the video, and I just wanted to shoot this so y'all could see what was going on. So y'all enjoy. Okay, here we are at the dog pissed carriers. He said that one of these doesn't work, is what he told me after when I was talking to him the other day. And so he's not sure. He didn't tell me which one. He just said one of these two wasn't working. So I'm gonna find out, or try to find out which one it is without going to the thermostat. I'm gonna see if I can. I'm gonna go ahead and take the covers off. This one here is 3-phase. This is a 3-phase condenser right here. This one's single phase. I'm gonna go ahead and take the single phase one apart and see if, you know, I see anything like a visibly blown capacitor or something like that before I go to the thermostat. So let me open it up. Okay, I went to the thermostat because the homeowner did show me what thermostat it was that was of the broken one, and it's the 3-phase one. You can see the contactor is energized and the breaker was off, so that's not a good sign. Let's see what happens here. Seems to be running okay. I'm gonna check the capacitor. That's just for the fan because this is 3-phase. The compressor doesn't have a capacitor. And you can see this thing's been worked on before, because all they did, they took a double pole contactor for single phase and used it and just wired it in one of the other hot legs over here. And that's how they're getting their 3-phase power out of this thing. But okay, well, let me investigate some more. Okay, I think I might have found out what's wrong with this one. The rated load amps on this fan motor is 1.4. You see it right there. We're drawing almost 2. So I'm going to check the capacitor and see if it's the capacitor that's weak that's making it do that, or if we're losing a fan motor. And what's happening is the fan motor runs for a while and it overheats and it stops. So that's what I have to figure out next. Okay, I kind of had to take that bracket apart so I could identify what size it was, but it is a 5 microfarad. So we got the old trusty field piece here set to microfarads, and let's see what we get here. That's just fine. 4.7, 4.8 is fine. So it looks like to me that we're losing a fan motor on this one, and what's happening is, because like I said, the breaker, he had the breaker off to this unit, which is telling me that last time he ran it, it quit working, so he killed the breaker to it. So more than likely what's happening here is with that amp draw, that fan motor is running a little while, and then it's overheating and it's shutting down. And of course, when that happens, the compressor is going to go into thermal overload and shut the unit down. So we'll see what he wants to do, how far he wants to take it, if he wants to dump that kind of money into this unit with this condition. And I didn't even see this over here the other day. It's worse than I thought. So we'll see how much money he wants to put in this thing. For right now, we're gonna go through this one, check the components on this one, and then we're gonna go check and start looking for dirty coils. Okay, this one, we've turned our attention here to the single phase one. The capacitor's been changed, so I'm gonna check that. I've left this unit running so I can keep an eye on that fan motor and see what it's gonna do. So we got the meter set to microfarads, and now we're gonna check between common and hermetic. We're looking for 50. We have 49.7, 0.8, 0.9, 50. So that is square. Now let's check between common and fan. We should have 5, and we have 5.1. So that's fine and dandy. Now what we're going to do is check the ohms on the contactor. Set the meter to ohms. .8, good. All right, well, everything here checks out. Contactor looks in decent shape physically. So I'm going to put this one back together. There is another condenser, but it's fairly new, but I'm going to check it anyway. But right now what I'm anxious to go see is these evaporators. So we're going to go do that next. Okay, we're here on one of the indoor systems. It's a Train XV80. It's a variable speed motor. There's a new water heater me and Dad installed the other day, and he left the filter here. That is what was in here. And I am shocked of how clean this coil is. Look at that. I mean, that thing, it's got a couple of things on it, but it's not enough to hurt anything, and I just can't believe that it's that clean. I guess, though, with lack of airflow like that, it couldn't really get dirty. But, so now I'm going to put this thing back together. We'll move on to the next one. Okay. We got the single phase carrier up and running, and it is hooked on the Train system that y'all just saw me pull the coil apart and look at it. It's not moving a lot of air out the top. Like right there, I can't feel anything. Right here, I can feel it. But it doesn't look that dirty, but I'm not going to put cleaner on this unit because of what the dogs have done to it. So I may just spray it off with water, and I'm going to have to be very careful even doing that, especially down there at the bottom. But we finally have everything identified. This one is hooked on the Train system you just saw me working on. The 3-phase one is hooked. This is the only system that is still matched on this house. Everything else is mismatched. This unit is hooked on a carrier gas furnace with a carrier evaporator coil. It's a matched system. This one is not. This is the one that's hooked on that variable speed Train furnace with that Train coil. And then there's a Arco Air around the corner, a deluxe model that's hooked on a Train electric air handler. So he's got 2 gas furnaces and an electric air handler in this house. So this is mismatched, and the Arco Air is mismatched. This is the only one that's matched up. So what I've got to do before I start checking Freon, I've got to go identify that the evaporator that this unit is hooked on is clean, and I've got to go identify that the Train air handler coil is clean before I start charging the Arco Air. This one here, I know it's clean, so I can go ahead and start checking my pressures on here, which I'm not going to do that yet. But I mean, this thing is not moving any air at all. I'm going to have to, I mean, it looks a little dirty right here. I'm just going to spray it with a hose. No cleaner though. No cleaner. All right, guys. Okay, here's the matched up carrier, the one that's hooked on the 3-phase. There's the furnace. There's the coil. I've already looked at it, guys. I tried to get y'all a peek, but this one's in a really tight spot. I had a hard enough time just getting my head in there to see, but it's clean as a whistle. It's cleaner than the Train coil. I don't know how, but it is. So, we just got one more to go identify. Right over there in a good old attic. Okay, we're up here in an attic. There's a Train air handler from 2003. What's nice about these air handlers is you can take this filter door off right here and get a look at the evaporator. But as you can see, this one is set up for horizontal left, so they've actually taken the call out and flipped it, so the return doesn't come up into the bottom of the A. So you can actually take the door off right here and identify that the coil is dirty or clean or whatever. But surprisingly, this one is clean too. All three of these coils are clean as a whistle, and I don't know how, after the poor maintenance that this customer does on his units. I absolutely do not understand how they're clean, but they are. So now we can go outside and start charging, or making sure that the charge is correct. This unit is running a expansion valve, as does all Train stuff. So we'll subcool to the Arco Air specs that's hooked on this one, and then the other Train coil is running an expansion valve, so we'll subcool it to the carrier specs on that one, and then the carrier system is running a piston, so we'll have to do a target superheat on that one. So very, very surprised at this, guys. Look at this, guys. I just pulled these filters out. These are the ones that go to that Train air handler that we just come from. Look at that. I just don't know how the coils are clean. I guess because these filters are so plugged up that it just couldn't get no air past it. But these units had to be freezing up. They had to be freezing up. I don't know. I tell you, man. Crazy, crazy. Okay, we've got the S-Mans hooked up to the first carrier. This is the single phase, and the one that's hooked on the Train gas furnace, variable speed gas furnace with the evaporator. And it's got an expansion valve, so we're going to follow this carrier's subcooling specs, which is right here, indoor TXV subcooling is 17. So we're actually not too far from that mark. I'm still shocked at how clean these evaporator coils were. And see, I got to figure out something about that fan discharge, because I'm sitting down on the ground and I can feel, y'all can probably hear it in the camera. I can feel the air hit me right in the face when it should be going straight up. So, but I'm going to hang with it for a minute. I'm really afraid to do anything with these because of this right here. But I'm going to hang with it. Okay, after we've let the system run a while, we're holding our mark between 14 and 15, which is just fine because we're looking for 17. So that's within 2 to 3. So it's holding around 13 to 15 degrees subcool. The superheat is staying low, so it looks like the expansion valve is doing its job. So we're gonna call this one as good as I can do with it. With the condition that it's in, it does seem to be doing okay. I'm gonna rinse it off with the water hose and no cleaner, because I mean it's not really that dirty, but I'm gonna see if that helps. And I'm gonna check the position of the fan blade and doesn't look like the motor's been changed before, but I'm going to go ahead and check the fan blade, see if it's in the right position, because that could be causing it too. Alright, well, as y'all can see here, the 3-phase unit is not looking as healthy. It's climbing back up now, the suction pressure, but it was, you know, it's been down in the low 30s, high superheat, which it's rising back up now. So I'm gonna sit here with it and see what it's gonna do. But not so far, not looking so good, and he knows that this one's in really rough shape. I mean, really, the one behind me here is too, the single-phase one, but it's not nearly as bad as this one. And he wants to get rid of the 3-phase anyway, which I don't blame him on a residential house. So this one may be a good a replacement. So we'll see what he wants to do. And then we got that fan motor that's over amping. So, and then looks like we're going to have a low refrigerant charge. See, it's going back down. So this one here, this may be a replacement here, but we'll see. We'll see what he wants to do. Okay, well, this is the 3-phase one. We're not going to do anything to it. The pressures have been staying between 39 and 44 or 45 like right now. So it is definitely low. The fan motor's going out. Just a minute ago, I wish I would have caught it on camera. It actually started slowing down and hesitating. So I just got off the phone with the customer, and he has decided to go ahead and change this one out. So we're not going to do anything with it. We're going to kill the breaker to it and shut it down, and we'll probably come over here one day next week and change this and the evaporator out, because the furnace is a electronic ignition carrier. Y'all saw it. It's in good shape, and it can always be changed later. It's not like it has Freon in it. So we're going to move him to 410A. Probably just going to do a 13 SEER Amana, because there's no sense in putting him in a 14 or a 6. I definitely can't put him in a 16 SEER without changing the furnace, but there would really be no point in putting him in a 14 SEER without changing the furnace, because anytime I sell the 14 SEER Amana, I try to use the right coil in furnace and with an expansion valve and step it up to 15 SEER. So we're just going to go 13 SEER on this one, and he's decided to go ahead and get rid of this one. So we're going to move over to the Arco Air. Okay, here's the last unit I just unhooked. I didn't really get no video on it. It's doing just fine. Arco Air Deluxe model. It's the one that's hooked on the train air handler, the electric air handler. But it seems to be working fine. So that's about all I can do for him, guys. With what he's got to work with, and he actually lucked out that his evaporator coils were clean, because I really thought they were going to be dirty, and he really could have ran into some money. So he's very lucky, very, very lucky. And you know, had he put a fence around those carriers, them dogs wouldn't have destroyed them, and he may not be having to do a change out on one of them. But that's how it goes. You know, I've had a long talk with him. He's a good guy, and he's not stupid. He's an educated guy, and hopefully from now on he'll take my advice and keep him up like he's supposed to. But until the change out and until the next one,